What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Europe making leaps and bounds in cryptocurrency regulation, and that's exactly what we need. We need one to blaze the trail, and the rest will follow. Generally, normally, that's all it needs. Everybody kind of sits back on the sidelines because nobody wants to make that first step. But once somebody makes that first step and everybody can see, oh, okay, well, things can be done, then people do things. It's weird. Human beings are weird that way. We're going to read this from law.com, link in the description below. Cryptocurrency regulation in Europe enters a new phase. Good. Good. We need advancement. Lawyers say a new regulation of markets and crypto assets will attract more crypto service providers to the 27-member bloc, as well as generate a wave of regulatory advisory work for law firms. Yeah, because the law firms are going to have to advise the government agencies on regulation. And as I've said in many videos before, always expect regulation to be weird at first. It's a new market. Some regulations are going to be good. Some are going to be bad. Some are going to be too heavy-handed. Some of them are not going to be heavy-handed enough. But they will adjust as time goes on and use cases and new ways to use cryptocurrency come up and things like that. So it'll be a little bit bumpy at first, but it will smooth out as time goes on. Up until a few years ago, legally speaking, cryptocurrencies were an unusual free-for-all in many European countries. There was no regulation at all. Nicolette Coste de Service, de Sevres, I don't know how to pronounce that, a partner at Meyer Brown in Paris, told Law.com International. It is rare that we see in the legal field such gray areas. Well, you're seeing these gray areas because it's a new thing. Nobody knows exactly how to regulate it just yet. And as I said, as time goes on, that will change. I mean, look where we were. We were at a point before where nobody was even thinking about regulating cryptocurrency to where people were thinking about regulating cryptocurrency to now where people are actually regulating cryptocurrency. So as time goes on, regulation will get better. In 2020, the European Union's executive body proposed a set of new rules to fill the legal vacuum surrounding cryptocurrency service providers. Good. And that's what we need. We need consistency. We need regulation. With its markets in crypto assets regulation, MiCA, part of a broader legislative package to regulate fintech, the European Commission wants to protect investors and ensure market stability by requiring that cryptocurrencies meet the same transparency, disclosure, licensing compliance, authorization, and oversight conditions as other financial products. And I know it sounds scary, but all that's really good news. It really, really is. While at the same time harmonizing the cryptocurrency legal framework across the bloc's 27 member countries. And it's really cool because the proposal is that, let's say you're an American cryptocurrency company and you want to do business in Europe, you can apply for the license, go through the regulation process, and make sure that you conform to the European Union's regulation, and that license gives you access to all 27 member countries. All of them. That's amazing. That's great. That opens the door. That brings in liquidity. That brings in money. That brings in eyes on the project. That opens up the field for new use cases because, well, as more people use something, we're going to find new and better ways to use it. The new European Union-wide regulation will help the cryptocurrency market build credibility. Exactly what we need, said Oliver van den Broek, a senior associate in Baker McKenzie's Antwerp office. If it's better regulated and better supervised, there will be more confidence from investors and financial markets in particular. That's going to help everyone involved in the market, which is what I have been saying for a long time. Regulation is not something to be afraid of per se. Yes, there are going to be bad regulations, and yes, there are going to be regulations that don't make sense. As time goes on, those will shed off. Regulations will get better. This is a new market. But once regulation happens, then we're going to get more money in the market because there are a lot of companies out there that can't even touch cryptocurrency. They can't have even the hint of impropriety, a hint of anything risky, a hint of anything unregulated, because their whole business would be at risk. But once it's regulated, you're opening the doors for a lot of big money movers to step in. The new regulation also will introduce a new European passport. This is what I was talking about before, where you can get into all 27 member nations. That would allow non-European Union cryptocurrency platforms and other service providers to apply for a license that will enable them to operate across all 27 member countries. And that's huge. Conformity, consistency, regulation, all that combined makes for a bright future. I know it doesn't sound like it, especially in the cryptocurrency world. Decentralization, no regulation. But look, it's not going to happen. I've said it before. If you're not willing to open up your house, leave your door unlocked, and let any Tom, Dick, and Harry in your house to do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, then how can you look at a government and say to a government that they have to allow an asset that's unregulated into their nation? They don't. It's the nation's house. It needs to be regulated. It needs to have some sort of regulation. There's just no way around it. At the moment, that is not possible, said Christian Hisnauer, counsel at Clifford Chance's Frankfurt office. Large crypto asset trading platforms from the U.S. and Asia are very interested in accessing the European market, and especially the German market. But the problem is that they have is that they have to look into various national regimes and verify whether there's any sort of regulation, he said. Before this regulation proposal came about, if you want to operate in all 27 member nations, you're going to have to go through all 27 different regulations, and they're going to be different throughout. This is conformity. This is one single regulation that applies to the entire European bloc, all 27 countries. And if you're able to get the license to operate in that bloc, then you can operate in the entire bloc. That sounds very appetizing. That sounds very liquid in my head. That is why the new European Union-wide license is an important game changer, and a game changer indeed. Absolutely. You have one set now, one set of regulation, one set of rules that allows you access to the entire European Union. That's huge. That is a lot of wallets. That is a lot of bank accounts. That is a lot of eyes. That is a lot of voices that can spread word of mouth on the viability of cryptocurrency. Vander Broek also said because it will really open up the European markets and help currently existing players to scale up and roll out their businesses into other member states. And ease of access. Rather than having to apply 27 times, you can apply once and have access to 27 nations. It's nice. Most lawyers interviewed for this story said the draft law, frequently referred to as MICA or MICA, struck a reasonably good balance between consumer protection and market intervention. Good. Because once there is regulatory framework in another country, another group, another entity, then that builds the framework for other countries, like hint, hint, the United States, to build regulatory framework as well. A lot of these countries, their regulatory framework is built upon other countries. They're very similar with slight little changes. Hopefully this will open the door for other countries to say, hey, this is working for that country. This is not working for that country. We can base our regulation upon that and make it better. Because nobody wants to be the first. MICA, I would say, is positive in the sense that it gives a clear framework without being extremely limiting on the use and basically existence of cryptos. Yeah, cryptocurrency has to be not too heavy-handed, not too light-handed. But it's going to adjust. Things are going to change as time goes on. And I like the idea that they are reasonably balanced on consumer protection and market intervention. That's where we need to be. Not too heavy, not too light. Like Goldilocks. Just right. But But as in other parts of the world, the regulation's ultimate effectiveness will depend on how well it is able to keep up with the fast-paced world of cryptocurrencies, lawyers said. Yeah, cryptocurrency is an extremely fast-paced world. Anything that happens in the legacy finance within a 10-year period could be in an average week in cryptocurrency. Let's see here. Lawyers, the European Union bill was first proposed in 2020 and will likely take effect in 2024. That's only 2 years away. That's only 2 short years. There's definitely a risk that as soon as the regulation enters into force, there might be things that fall outside the scope of the MiCA regulation because everything is so rapidly evolving when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Yes. Which is why in the United States, I believe we need a new entity, not the Security and Exchange Commission, but we need a new entity to regulate cryptocurrency because it does move very fast. And we need people who understand cryptocurrency to regulate cryptocurrency. How are we going to have these people in office that don't understand how cryptocurrency even works regulate it? How's that going to work? It doesn't. You don't understand it. How are you going to regulate it? Van den Broek said, adding that it is possible European Union lawmakers will have to amend the MiCA regulation right away. And they might. And they probably will. There will absolutely be some things that weren't thought of, some new things that are like, oh, wait, we need to add this, or we need to subtract that. Yes, it's a new market. It's called growing pains. A law firm boon. Yes, lots of law firms are going to have to pop up to give regulatory framework and advising government institutions on that framework. Regardless of whether the new regulation proves effective, lawyers said that MiCA would definitely generate a lot of work for law firms in the years to come. Absolutely, it will. I'm going to skip down just a hair here because we understand, yes, lawyers are going to get work. Got it. Germany, meanwhile, has been something of an outlier, with cryptocurrencies already subject to stringent requirements. Hisnauer said, under Germany's Banking Act, companies that want to do cryptocurrency trading or custody services or broker between cryptocurrency investors and sellers require a German banking license and are essentially subject to the same requirements as investment firms. Nice. It's just the United States that seems to be falling far behind. I know it's not just the United States, but living here, it seems like the United States is dragging their heels. Germany is, when it comes to crypto assets and cryptocurrencies, a fully regulated country, he said, which is why a lot of the cryptocurrency firms want to get into Germany, and why this 27-member block licensing for cryptocurrency companies is huge. One license, 27 countries, millions of people. Nice. I like it. Law firm interest in cryptocurrencies similarly varies from country to country. Sure, all countries are different. Absolutely. In France, Comte de Sèvres said cryptocurrencies are still a niche area in the legal market, with the demand for legal expertise outweighing the number of firms. Well, yeah, give it time. Give it time. Regulation is coming. I encourage you to read this article at your own convenience, if you will. But regulation is coming, and it's not something that we should fear, not in my opinion. It's something that we should welcome. It's something that we should say, hey, this is happening. And it's something that should happen with open arms. Is it going to be painful? Yes, it is. But it has to be gone through. And I know nobody wants to hear that we have to have regulation, but we have to have regulation. And this is all a good start on the future of finance. I appreciate your time. You guys are amazing, and remember, the link to this article is in the description box below. I will see you guys on the next one.